In 7 days, the wolves will be guarding the sheep, and far too many of you sheep are under the illusion that you are wolves.
I have no fear whatsoever of anybody or anything.
Serious? That email coming up.
Somebody's coming up. Somebody's serious. Somebody's coming up. Somebody's serious. Somebody's coming up.
Hey everybody, Jerry Williams, aka Greater Sapien here. Thanks for stopping by. So, here we are, just a week away from the inauguration of convicted felon, grifter, and insurrectionist Donald Trump as the President of the United States again. And if his recent press conference is any indication, it's going to be a rocky 4 years, to say the least. 4 years I've criticized Trump for his consistent pattern of lying, his hyperbolic promises, and his intentional erosion of trust in American institutions. And as I've said before, I hoped he'd prove me wrong. But folks, based on his latest public remarks, that hope is fading fast. I've said it before, what the world needs is stability, and Trump is the opposite of that. I don't think you people remember what it was like under Trump the last time around.
Oh, I remember the economy was stronger.
That's true. Thanks, Obama. But I also remember waking up every day wondering, did Trump say something crazy again today? Remember, Trump was president of the United States and was tweeting at 3 in the morning. When I woke up at 6 a.m. on the West Coast, that man might have been spouting random shit for 6 hours already. You'd get off work and you would check the news or online and you'd say to yourself, please don't have said some bullshit again today. As much as you may not have liked Obama or Biden from a policy point of view, there was not this dread that the President of the United States might decide to say something that would scare the markets like that would undermine foreign policy without warning, which would confuse the public about what is or is not happening in the world. But Trump might get mad at what a CEO's wife said online and decide to claim the CEO's company might need its contract pulled, or he might threaten to withhold aid to an ally because of a meme he saw. There are many policy issues that I will have with Trump, but this isn't even a policy thing. It's a Trump being an unfit person thing. His press conference was a solid example of my concerns holding true. Let's take, for example, Trump's lies about known facts in his presser. First up, Trump's claim that January 6 rioters didn't have guns. He said, and I quote, "This would be the only insurrection in history where people went in as insurrectionists with not one gun." Well, that's a lie. Court records confirm that multiple people who entered the Capitol on January 6 were armed with firearms. Mark Mazzei, Guy Reffitt, Christopher Alberts, and others were convicted for possessing guns during the riot. This is not a matter of opinion. These are facts documented in court. But here's a problem. When a president-elect dismisses documented truths as if they don't exist, it's not just dishonest, it's dangerous. It's a deliberate attempt to rewrite history, to shape reality around his own narrative. The Republican Party has already memory-holed January 6th for themselves, and they are trying to do it for everyone. Next, Trump's hyperbolic rhetoric. Take his comments on trade with the European Union. They don't take our cars. They don't take our farm products. They don't take anything. This quote. This is once again a lie. The EU is the second largest market for the U.S. vehicle exports, and it's one of our biggest buyers of agricultural goods. But here's the thing. Does Trump believe what he's saying? Or is this just his strategy to whip up outrage and set himself up as a savior? That's the uncertainty that worries me. If he doesn't mean what he says, he's playing a dangerous game with global markets and international diplomacy. If he does mean it, then he's operating from a place of ignorance that could lead to real harm. And it doesn't stop there. Trump's musings about acquiring Greenland, the Panama Canal, and even Canada, yes, Canada might sound absurd, but they're also troubling. When asked if he would rule out using military or economic coercion to achieve these goals, he said, "I'm not going to commit to that." And I know what some of you are saying. It's just bluster, Jerry. It's not going to be real policy. This is just what he does to keep the rest of the world on their toes. But is that what America needs from its leadership? Someone who will spout bullshit that no one knows if he really means? And to those downplaying it right now, and I know you are, if these things turn out to be part of a genuine American imperialist agenda, how quickly are you going to sign on to it? What justification are you going to come up with when you go from, don't overreact, this is just Trump being Trump, to, no, we should take those places over? Now, of course, some of this is just standard Trump bullshit. But I actually think the Greenland thing is real here. And there's a reason why I think the Greenland thing is real. Because no matter how much he talks about climate change being a hoax in order to pander to you rubes, he and the industry lobbyists he listens to know that climate change is real. And as Greenland melts due to global warming, more resources are becoming available because climate change is real and they know it. Anyway, finally, let's talk about Trump's continued undermining of trust in American institutions. He's been doing it for years, but his recent comments about the Department of Justice and the 2024 election take it to a new level. He called Special Counsel Jack Smith a deranged individual and claimed that his conviction for falsifying business records was part of a deep state conspiracy. And you know how in the past I've said that every time Trump accuses someone of something, it's an admission of his own actions? His press conference had a perfect example of that. Just listen to this shit.
The left, as we call them, the radical left, they have a way, they play the ref, and they play it very hard. They play the ref. They go and say horrible things about judges and prosecutors. And some judges and prosecutors say, look, the only way I'm going to get these people off my back is to give victory to them. They're playing the ref. I think it's illegal what they do. It's almost...
This is a man who at every turn went out of his way to insult every single prosecutor that was involved in his cases. Cases, remember, because this motherfucker is a goddamn criminal and gets prosecuted and loses a lot. He's made personal attacks against every prosecutor and judge that has ever ruled against him. He's personally insulted their families, their ethnic backgrounds, and he has the nerve to say that this is what his opponents do. And the MAGA suckers just nod their heads. Because you are voluntarily rewriting history for yourselves, 1984 style. And Trump is just the epitome of the 1984 party leader, practicing doublethink every minute of his life. To know and not to know, to be conscious of complete truthfulness while telling carefully constructed lies, to hold simultaneously two opinions which canceled out, knowing them to be contradictory and believing in both of them. That's Trump every day. And to paraphrase Orwell, Trump told you to reject the evidence of your eyes and ears. It is his final, most essential command. And you good members of the MAGA party, you dutifully go along with it. You've always thought borders were just artificially drawn lines, right? That's why you voted for Trump.
Because Canada and the United States, that would really be something. You get rid of that artificially drawn line.
And then there's his continued insistence that elections in the U.S. are illegitimate. During his press conference, he described President Biden's 2020 victory as a result of election cheaters and implied that attempts were made to rig the 2024 election against him. These are baseless claims, and they've been repeatedly debunked. But Trump's goal isn't to prove his case. It's to sow distrust, to make his supporters question the very foundation of our democracy. Now, why does that matter? Because a leader who erodes trust in institutions isn't just attacking the people in power. I'm all for attacking people in power. They're attacking the idea that we can have any system of accountability at all. When Trump tells his followers that they can't trust elections, the justice system, or the media, he's not just tearing down his enemies, he's tearing down the fabric of democracy itself and saying he's the only one to be trusted. So, here we are, days away from the beginning of Trump's second term, and the pattern is already clear. Lies about known history, hyperbolic claims that leave citizens, industries, and the world guessing whether he's serious, and a relentless assault on the institutions that hold our country together. I said before that I hoped Trump would prove me wrong, that he'd show himself to be capable of leading with honesty and integrity. But based on his press conference and the dangerous rhetoric it contains, it's hard to hold on to that hope. And you might say, that's a lie, Jerry. You want him to fail. But that's not true. His failure is bad for everyone. His failure will cause people to be harmed and even die who otherwise would not have. But I know that failure is just what he does. He can found a business, a charity, a university, but it will collapse under him. He can make a profit for himself, but he'll bankrupt those who help him. He can win an election, but he can't manage a crisis and only cares about what is in his immediate interest. And so I say this: we have to remain vigilant. We have to hold him accountable to whatever degree we can. Because democracy doesn't just disappear in one big moment. It erodes bit by bit, lie by lie, until we wake up one day and wonder where it went. All right, folks, that's it for me. Thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Try to keep it civil. We're all just trying to live in this world. Let's not make it harder on each other than is necessary. Take care, everybody.
And the Shogun is the master. Why don't you sit down and shut up? Why don't I sit down and what? I said, why don't you sit down and shut up? Why don't anybody who wants me to sit down and shut up come down here and make me? I can't hear you.